Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We begin this Shabbat as we do each Shabbat with music. Tonight we begin with a nigun.
So I like to say a nigun is the musical idea that allows us to focus on the music and not so much on the words, so that we can think about how the music makes us feel as I think we're already warmed up in the evening, but as we at least spiritually warm our minds and our souls to move into this Shabbat. So join with me as we sing with a smile even behind your masks. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Try that with me. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Can we sing this a little bit faster? I can. Let's see if we can do it. Ready? Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la ya la 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 la.
We continue on page 10 at the top.
Is that the song? All right. I don't know if there's a reading in there. Hine matov, hine matov, manayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov, manayim sheverachim gam yachad. One more time. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov, umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. Hine matov, umanayim sheverachim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim v'nachim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Turn ahead in our prayer books now to page 20 as we join together in Lecha Dodi. When we reach the final verse, we ask that everyone rise in body or spirit as we welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 20. Or we could all rise and welcome Floa in as she comes in too. Either way.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmiyanu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad, Shemo echad, Shemo tiferet velitila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat Lechu v'nelcha ki mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori. Uri, uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. We rise to greet the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola. Toch emune am segula. Boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Take a moment to turn to your neighbors and greet them and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom. Introduce yourself if you don't know the neighbors. On the Zoom screen, look at the person next to you on screen and say hello. We turn back to our prayer books now to page 26 as we join together in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alamad yivrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ובזמן קריב יאמרו
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen.
As we turn the page again to page 28, we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we join together in the Baruch.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
On page 31, we continue together at the top. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the currents of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And we continue on the top of 33 together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggles for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Twice tonight we pay tribute to the memory of a great Israeli composer who wrote this very well-known melody for Shema and later the Shehecheyanu. This is in memory and paying tribute to the great music of Tzvika Peak. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לתותבות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page. Getting to turn on the microphone, I apologize. The problem is if I keep my mic on the whole time, then the Zoom people hear my voice just as loudly as they hear the cantors, and that's not fair to the people in Zoom land. So it's training myself to turn on, off, on, off. Anyway, I apologize. On page 39 at the top, we continue together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש. נורא תהילות אוסף אלה נורא עושה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים זה אלינו ואמרו זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 la
As we turn the page and join together on the top of page 43, we know that in the world in which we live, too many of us see ourselves alone. Too many of us see ourselves disconnected. And if you look out into the broader world, too many people see themselves detached from one another, not recognizing how much we share, how much better off we are when we see that which is shared rather than that which differentiates us. And so we pause at this moment to offer the words of the Hashkivenu prayer. Hashkivenu Adonai Elohecha, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. God, guard us, that we lie down in peace and raise us up to do your will, to life renewed. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
These words which remind us of the importance of Shabbat every week. V'shamru, page 44. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we turn the page, we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit once more as we join together in the tefillah, the evening prayer. Please join with us.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Kornei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot U'mevii Geula livnei v'neihem Leman Shemo be'ava Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham v'Zerat Sarah אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים. מתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Silently now through page 63, including both the prayers of the prayer books and the prayers of our own hearts. Please be seated at your own pace.
אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע ושפתי מדבר מרמה, ואם כללי נפשי תדום ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע ושפתי מדבר מרמה, ואם כללי נפשי תדום ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע ושפתי מדבר מרמה, ואם כללי נפשי תדום ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה אלוהי. פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, בתורתך נצור
לשוני מירה, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולים קל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מירה, ושפתי מדבר מרמה. ולים קל עלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי.
יהיו לרצון נמרי פי, בהגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני, 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 צורי, אדוני, אדוני, צורי, וגואלי.
Regina, stay here for a second.
Thank you to our new educator, Cantor Regina Height.
We are really fortunate to welcome Cantor Regina Height, who is our new educator. Her husband, Lucky, is sitting over there in about the third row.
Lucky.
He also answers to the name Matthew, but Lucky just kind of fits. We're really thrilled to have you here, and we're thrilled to be able to have you sing with us on the Bima. It's such a treat. So we're looking forward to much, much more. We slogged through a year with no Cantor, and now we have
Two
riches, which is really wonderful. It is a treat. We pause now for prayers for healing. The Mishaberach prayer is found on page 253. As a congregation on this Shabbat, we especially think of Alan Snyder, Alex Botkin, Susan Horn, Devorah Batfei, Robin Neft, Barry Friedlander, Joey Dawn Gillespie, Tom Evans, Elaine Lesgold, Nelson Colvin, Leslie Colvin, Adam Colvin, Michael L., Howard G., Stan W. And online, we add to those names James Adams. And if there are other names to mention now, as my eyes make their way around the room, I invite you to rise and offer those names as well. We pray for all of them, for their loved ones and caregivers, for their family and friends. We join together in the Mishaberach prayer, page 253. Mishaberach avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. And let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, healer of the sick. And now a few moments to share good things, birthdays, anniversaries. Friends visiting from out of town. Parents back in town. Grandparents back in town. Somebody should have something to celebrate here. Somebody have a little sister that was just born? Well, I'll always defer to her, but that's because she told me to.
Oh, yeah.
She did.
How much did she pay you, though?
More than you did.
My sister.
Is it on?
Turn it on.
Here.
I can use my outside voice. No, you can't. My sister and I became great aunts last Monday when.
No, Wednesday.
Whatever. Someday last week.
Cantor, we're out of a job.
Welcome to my life. We became great aunts when our nephew, Joshua, and his wife, Aditi, had this gorgeous, tiny, tiny baby girl whose name is Reva, which is an Indian name. His wife is Indian, and she's also named in memory of our mother, who was Reva.
Nice.
So, and she's the tiniest, cutest little thing you ever saw.
Nice.
And we're really happy because he's 38, and we thought, oh, come on, Josh. You know?
So that means we've got to warn that little baby that someday she's going to give birth to kids like you guys?
No. If she's smart, she won't listen to us.
Who else has something good to share?
My birthday's on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
I just returned from almost 5 weeks back home in Michigan to come back here to my home.
Nice. You want to add to that one? Or?
So they took 2 of mine. So Zach is turning 15 on Tuesday, and we welcome him home after 2 months away. Is that a happy thing? And my mom is back, and we're thrilled to have our friends Mark and Sherry Rothstein here visiting from New Jersey.
My school starts also on Zach's birthday, which gives me a full day to avoid giving him a birthday present.
I got to get out of this row at some point.
And for those who don't know, Shirley Goldstein is going to turn 99 on Thursday.
Right. Linda, did you have your hand up? All right. No, I hear you have good news in your house. Is that true?
I just had a baby.
You just had a baby? Did you have a baby girl or a baby boy?
Girl.
A girl? What's her name?
Marigold.
Marigold. Is she cute like you?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you. I can show them pictures after.
Very nice. She's lucky to have an older brother like you. She's a very lucky girl.
She looks like my dad.
She looks like your dad?
Everyone says.
All right. That's good. Yeah. Who else has something good to share? Frank.
Carolyn and I leave tomorrow for a week in Chautauqua.
Nice. I hope it's a quiet week there. Who else has something good to share? Lizzie, what are you going to share? Because I know. Sorry.
In a few weeks, it's gonna be my birthday.
In a few weeks, it's going to be your birthday. That's true. But in a different month, so we have to wait till it's the right month. September birthdays. We'll get there. Who?
Toby Chapman. My younger granddaughter just celebrated her 22nd birthday.
Nice. Mazel tov. I'm assuming it's your granddaughter, too. Who else has something good to share? Anybody else have good things? We good? Cantor, it's all you.
So I'm celebrating a friend's new baby, a friend that's like family to me, to my friend Beth and her son Miles in Chicago. And we again pay tribute with these words to everyone here celebrating, but this melody that we know so well is also written by the great pop Israeli composer Zvika Peak. This is his Shehechianu that we know so well. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. One more time.
We add an additional mazel tov to Michael and Joanna Butler, who became a great aunt and uncle this week. So just like Mimi and Joan, they have great aunt and unclehood to share. So mazel tov to them. Shabbat shalom. Junior year of high school, I started the year in AP World History with Carol Valdrigi, who was a very bright, capable teacher who had a reputation of being a pain in the rear end. She lived up to that reputation over the course of the year, and I lived up to the reputation that I had of being a smart kid who could also be a pain in the rear. And so she knew she had with me somebody who she could push, and who she could mold. And I knew I had with her a teacher who was really bright and capable. It didn't quite work out as the beloved teacher-student relationship. That took a while. In fact, it took years. It took years after being her student for that to fully blossom. And I'll never forget the very first day we sat down in this class, and she looked out at us and she said, "Geography is destiny. I want you to learn that. Geography is destiny. If you learn nothing else in this class, that's what I want you to learn." And I remember thinking to myself, that's interesting. And then almost immediately trying to figure out if she meant that in a positive or a negative way. And over the course of the year, I kept sort of toggling back and forth. Is geography destiny in a negative way or in a positive way? And as a Jew, I've wrestled this question out for us with the land of Israel. And I think we all wrestle with this. On the one hand, geography is our destiny. Israel, the land of Israel is our destiny. It tells our story. It's who we are. But it does so both with positivity, with greatness, with joy, with blessing, but also with challenge and curse and difficulty and destruction. And so the challenge then is to figure out, which way do we see our destiny? Do we see our geography as our destiny to lead us forward, or something from which to run? So the Torah portion this Shabbat talks about this same concept of geography as destiny. So let's start with the basics. How did we get to Israel? We didn't take the short way or the easy way. If there were American superhighways in that part of the world the way there are here, the drive from Cairo to Jerusalem is 5 hours, give or take. Depends on how many rest stops you need, but not long. If you even go on the regular 2-lane rickety highways they have there, it's still an 8 or 10 hour ride. Again, not so bad. It took our people 40 years, right? Now, it isn't that we were just pokey. It means that there's something else going on there. So that long journey tells us a lot about our destiny. What does it mean that our promised land, our destiny, needs 40 years to reach? What does it mean that our destiny requires us to go through all sorts of challenges and trials, all sorts of battles, all sorts of losses, just to reach this destiny. What's that say about our God? Does our God have faith in us? Do we have faith in our God? Is our geography our destiny for our betterment, or is it our curse? That long journey stands as a challenge. It never gets resolved. We learn to live with this as part of our history, but we never resolve how we deal with that. And if the long journey weren't enough, it's not like Israel moves into a wonderful neighborhood with kind, caring relatives next door who bring over apple pies and cookies to welcome them to the neighborhood, right? I'm assuming, have you guys met your new neighbors yet? Have they brought over nice things? I hope they're nicer than Israel's neighbors. Truth is, the average people who are Israel's neighbors are truly loving, giving people. The governance of all of those neighbors for centuries, millennia, is another story. And so Israel walks into this neighborhood that's a very difficult neighborhood. It's a place filled with challenge. It's a place that's filled with distrust. But on a personal level, almost from the beginning, individual to individual, the neighbors get along with each other. And we've got episode after episode where the neighbors get along and get together. I mean, the Midianites become this terrible people for the Israelites. But we can't forget that Moses was married to a Midianite. And Moses' father-in-law, who was a Midianite priest, helped raise Jewish kids while Moses was away leading the people out. So individuals, even though they were different, were kind to us. The question then is, how do we see our neighbors? Do we look at our neighbors and see them as somebody who is an other? Or do we see them as somebody who shares the same destiny we do? How many of us, when we bought a house, asked about the neighbors in the process of buying that house? You actually did. What answer did you get? And has it played out that way for you guys? Okay, so you're really lucky. Would you have not moved in there if you had heard bad things? Right, so the role of neighbors plays a really fascinating part. Now, what's interesting in the neighbor piece is that whereas geography is destiny, indicates that there's some other force that's pushing it all, when it comes to our neighbors, we have a choice. We can choose to be good neighbors to them. We can choose to reach out and knock on their door and say, hi, I just moved in next door, or we can ignore them. And so to say geography is destiny only gives us half the picture. It is the picture that indicates that we don't have a say in the matter. But ours is a tradition that wrestles with this idea of personal choice, personal autonomy all the time. And so we actually do have an ability to change our destiny. And this is where it gets really interesting. Because the Torah portion a little later starts talking about how good a land the land of Israel is. And usually when we get to that part, we hear of the land of milk and honey. But listen to the list of things that are mentioned in the Torah portion this week. Streams and springs, fountains, plains, hills, wheat, barley, vines, figs, pomegranates, olives, honey, iron, and copper. That's a much more significant list than milk and honey, right? Read that description on the little real estate listing and you think, this might not be so bad. But we forget about all of that. And instead we focus on all the challenges. So how is it that we can turn back and focus on it? So it comes back to that same question of geography as destiny. Is geography the destiny we inherit, or is geography the destiny that we build? And I would suggest that our Torah, in a very subtle way this Shabbat, is saying this is a destiny that is not just one that you inherit, but rather you have a role to play as well. That it's a both and, that there are two pieces here at play. Because the verse that comes right after this list of all of these things is a very famous phrase that ends up being used in the blessings after the meals. V'achalta v'savata v'erachta et Adonai Elohecha asher hatova Elohecha al haaretz asher hatova asher natan lach. When you have eaten your fill and you are sated, give thanks, give blessing to God for the land, the good land that God has given. So at that moment, when we make that choice to give the blessing, we are taking destiny into our own hands. And so the text is teaching us, look, there is the destiny that you are going to be handed, and then there is the destiny you are going to create. And if you work hard at creating, and you remember to give thanks for it afterwards, and to say that blessing, and to build a sense of gratitude into your life, then your destiny can be something for which you can't even imagine at this point. It can be for extraordinary worlds. On the other hand, if you don't do that, your destiny will also be written. And your destiny will be something far less significant, far less joyful. And so, yes, geography is our destiny, but how we contribute to that, how we see that geography, how we celebrate that geography, how we use it to our advantage and to the advantage of others, how we care for it, how we celebrate it. All of those things help us build a destiny as well. So yes, geography is destiny for Israel, but it's not necessarily a bad destiny with bad neighbors and violence and pain and difficulties. It is a destiny that stands calling, opening, saying, my arms are open to you, please come build your destiny here. And in a sense, that's what we're doing in this congregation and as we do as Jews. We choose to build a destiny that says we are tied to this set of beliefs, this set of practices, but we are open. We want you to be a part of it as well. We want you to find your destiny with us. And when we do that, then we take the best of that destiny which is handed to us and the best of the destiny that we can build ourselves, and we create a world beyond what any one of us can imagine. So Mrs. Veldrigi was right. Geography is destiny. And what I've learned is I'm still building that destiny. Shabbat Shalom. A few announcements this morning. Our oneg this evening is sponsored by Watts and will take place immediately afterwards. Our thanks to the greeters. Allison Yeager was a greeter this evening. Yes? No? Maybe? Sort of? Were you alone or was there somebody else who was greeting with you? Risa was greeting. Oh, so people, that's why people are happy. Risa, thank you for greeting. Allison, thank you for greeting as well. Tomorrow morning we have Torah study at 8:30 and the Minyan service is at 9:15. Sunday morning, or Sunday noon rather, we have baking for Oneg Shabbat. If you are interested in baking, come in from 12 to 4 anytime during that window. Let Mara Kaplan know in advance. I think she'll help get the ingredients and all of that. And so there will be a big baking feast and fest going on in the kitchen. And I don't know if you can request to have something baked for you, but take the shot, build your own destiny. On Monday, or on Wednesday, Parshat Shavua is at noon, and evening meditation with Rhonda Rosen will be 6 o'clock online. And next Sunday, a week from this coming Sunday, is our congregational picnic, which will take place in Monroeville. When do RSVPs due in? High holidays are just about 6 weeks away. So if Cantor Reinwald and I look like we're both a little frazzled over the next month or so, you'll know why. But we are both having fun as we're preparing and getting ready for the holidays, and we look forward to celebrating with all of you. And we look forward to having as many of you on the Bima this year as we can. To be very honest, we're still sort of wrestling through what the COVID limitations are going to be. You know, are we going to be able to have a procession through the congregation or not? And all of those fun challenges. But We are in a better place than we were a year ago, and we're looking forward to celebrating with everyone. With that, let us return to our service. We turn back in our prayer books to page 282, and I invite everyone to rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו הוא אחד.
Please be seated. We pause now to think of those who came before us, those who gave us life, those with whom we shared life, those who joined together to create this congregation and this community. As you hear the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise in your place. Sam Alcaro, Cookie Besterman, Sidney Block, Norman Boudman, Jane Brandeis, Bessie Buckman, Albert C. Davidson, Emil Alligator, Julian Alligator, Daniel Fine, Charles Garfinkel, Gail Gassner, Lily Gefsky, Selma Roz Sakes Glick, Philip Goldberg, Herbert Goldstein, Barry Goldstein, Max Hadberg, Mary Harris, Seymour Willis Herwald, Jack Josowitz, Moshe Campano, Roberta Davis Kroll, Sanford Sandy Lample, Robert Lasky, Thomas Lewis, Morris Lifsher, Esther Loeb, Aline Love, Shirley Mandel, Leopold Mandler, Hyman Moretsky, Julius Mayer, Sarah Myers, Celia Oakes, Edward J. Pearlstein, Morton Perlman, Sidney Polk, Mark Pollack, Morris Ratner, Abe Rubin, Laura Rubin, Israel Schneerov, Earl Schwartz, Philip Schwartz, Donald Schwartz, Janet M.L. Schaefer, Norman Shribman, Richard Shribman, Alvin Silverstein, Rita Smith, Barbara Snyderman, Barbara Salerno, Anna Soledar, Elise Solomon, Paul Surloff, Bessie Tolstoy, Sophie Winkle, Saul Weiss, Joseph S. Wildberg, Eleanor Whitcover, Michael Yurko, Abe Zalman, Albert Zecher. And to those names, we add the names of those who we've lost just in recent weeks: Stanislav Boyko, Bernard Lefkowitz, Roslyn Eskovitz, Vera Nunez de Ripoli, and Leon Heller. We join together as one congregation. As we join in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, we invite everyone to rise. Ron Berkman. We join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam l'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudashah b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May God grant comfort to all of us who are bereaved, and together we say, Amen. We conclude this evening with the singing of Adon Olam, which is on page, I should know this by heart, and I don't.
321.
321.
Adon olam asher malach, haydi-di-di-di-di-di-di-di-di, b'teherem kol yitzir nivra. Haydi-di-di-di-di-di-di-di, le'nasa v'chefso kol, haydi-di-di-di-di-di-di, azay melech shemo nikra, haydi-di-di-di-di-di. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם אשר מלך היידי-די-די-די-די-די-די בטרם כל יציר נברא היידי-די-די-די-די-די לעת נשא וחפשו כל היידי-די-די-די-די-די אזי מלך שמו נקרא היידי-די-די-די והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה היידי-די-די-די אדון עולם אשר מלך היידי-די-די-די-די-די בטרם כל יציר נברא היידי-די-די-די-די-די לעת נשא וחפשו כל היידי-די-די-די-די אזי מלך שמו נקרא היידי-די-די-די והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בצרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא היידי-די-די-די אדון עולם אשר מלך היידי-די-די-די-די-די בטרם כל יציר נברא היידי-די-די-די-די-די לעת נשא וחפשו כל היידי-די-די-די-די אזי מלך שמו נקרא היידי-די-די-די בידו כי רוחי ועת אישן מהעירה ואם רוחי גוויתי אדוני לי ולא יירא היידי-די-די-די אדון עולם אשר מלך היידי-די-די-די-די-די בטרם כל יציר נברא היידי-די-די-די-די-די לעת נשא וחפשו כל היידי-די-די-די-די-די אזי מלך שמו נקרא היידי-די-די-די.
We join together for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavadu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר יציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim.
And join us for the Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.